last night, but saying at a certain point in the league's existence, I'm going to need for Kelsey Mitchell to get the same whistle as each other stars. The way she gets assaulted is insane, actually. And I've considered roping my sister in it to have office purse charges. Now, this is when Caitlin Clark chimed in. Caitlin Clark said, careful, you're going to get fined. Then Sydney Colson said, I can't get...
The WNBA is facing another explosive controversy as Caitlin Clark and Sydney Colson refuse to stay silent about the league's ongoing referee bias. This time, the gloves are completely off, and the Indiana Fever stars are calling out the most blatant double standards we've seen in professional sports. Let's dive into how this latest firestorm started and why it threatens to expose the WNBA's biggest secret.
Who paying you, ref? Who you betting on? And mind you, there was some problems going on with the shot clock throughout the game. But man, there is no way. Right at the end of the game, you should be on top of it. You telling me you're not paying attention to when some hands touch that ball? Come on, man. And then to reward them with the timeout, like, fam, that's crazy work. Look, Caitlin Clark, like, what is going on here? She's like, no. Look, Caitlin ready to run the floor, fam. She's like.
After the Indiana Fever's nail-biting 76-75 victory over the Los Angeles Sparks on August 29th. What should have been a celebration turned into another heated controversy when Sydney Colson, who's been sidelined all season with a torn ACL, watched from home and witnessed something that made her blood boil.
There is one referee. We definitely have to check for betting slips for this guy right here. I think his name is like Agun Agazi, because it sure seemed like he did not want to let the Fever take away this win, making the last 1.9 seconds last almost 5 minutes. He was just like letting them call a reset timeout, and then he was like, no, it's a foul. But I think the worst part about that 1.9 seconds was when 0.4 seconds was left on the clock and Kelsey Mitchell was at the free throw line. She was trying to miss on purpose because that takes time off of the clock, because if she would have made it in, they would have been able to inbound and possibly do a tip in. But this guy allowed a reset timeout. When do you allow a reset timeout with 0.4 seconds?
During the second quarter, Kelsey Mitchell was driving to the basket when Kelsey Plum grabbed and yanked her with clear intent to stop the play. The contact was so obvious that even casual fans could see it from the nosebleeds.
Oh, there's a Leah. You gave them every chance to win. If you look at this in slow motion, you can see Caitlin Clark clearly smiling in confusion, smiling in, did that really just happen? Smiling in, you slide W. And she says, she points at the other team, you gave them every chance to win. Oh, goodness gracious. Caitlin Clark, she's chomping at the bits to start talking to these referees during the game, during free throws, after the game.
But somehow, incredibly, the referees let it slide like they were watching a completely different game. Mitchell still managed to finish the drive with a layup, but the damage was done. The Fever bench exploded in frustration, and that's when things got really interesting.
That's what everybody saw in that game. Like, it didn't really matter what was going on. We all knew what was happening. We all knew what was happening there. And the game was being given. The game was absolutely being given to the Sparks. They were giving the Sparks every single chance possible to go and win that game. Even though realistically, did they deserve to win that game? Hell no. Hell no. They did not. And I mean that. They did not deserve to win that game.
Caitlin Clark, despite being injured and sitting on the bench, couldn't contain herself. She stood up and started screaming at the referees, "Call it! Call it!" Her teammate Lexi Hull was so furious that she also rose from her seat in protest, and the officials immediately hit her with a technical foul. Think about that for a second. Hull gets penalized for being upset about an obvious no call, while the player who committed the actual foul gets to keep playing like nothing happened.
Yo, please tell me y'all saw Caitlin Clark, the GOAT. Y'all saw Caitlin Clark crash out on the bald head ref last night. Please tell me y'all saw this. And she had Caitlin Clark spazzed on the referee last night, and I'm not mad about it. I see a lot of the haters talking about, oh, she be doing too much with the man. Mind your business. You are not in a GOAT's place, so stay out of a GOAT's business, okay? It's that simple. The officiating was awful last night. I don't know what was going on in that Los Angeles Sparks Indiana Fever game, but the officiating was flat out.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Sydney Colson, watching this circus unfold from her living room, decided she'd had enough. She took to social media and unleashed a tweet that perfectly captured what everyone was thinking. At a certain point in the league's existence, I'll need Kelsey Mitchell to get the same whistle as other stars. The way she gets assaulted is insane, actually. And I've considered roping my sister in to have her office pursue charges. Now, this wasn't just some random complaint from an injured player looking for attention. Colson was dead serious about the systematic targeting of Indiana Fever players, and she wasn't afraid to put it in writing for the whole world to see. The tweet went viral faster than a Clark three-pointer, and that's when Caitlin Clark herself jumped into the conversation.
But Kelsey Mitchell's whistle last night was horrific. And Kelsey drove to the basket a lot. She is the type of person that just goes through a lot of defenders, and she wasn't getting a call. This really was not her game. She was not hitting it from the three whatsoever, but everyone is entitled to having a bad game here and there, and I think she was kind of due for one because of the tear that she's been on lately. Even Sid Colson took to Twitter to talk about it, saying, at a certain point in the league's existence, I'm gonna need Kelsey Mitchell to get the same whistle as other stars. The way she gets assaulted is insane, actually, and I've considered roping my sister in to have her pursued.
Clark's response was short, sweet, and loaded with sarcasm. Careful, you're gonna get fined. 5 words that perfectly summarized everything wrong with the WNBA's approach to player criticism. It was a not-so-subtle jab at the league's recent crackdown on players who dare to question their precious officiating standards, and Clark knew exactly what she was talking about. Her teammate Sophie Cunningham had been turned into the WNBA's punching bag for having the audacity to speak out about referee incompetence. Cunningham has been fined not once, not twice, but 3 separate times for criticizing officials. The league hit her with a $500 fine for a TikTok video where she lip-synced to lyrics calling refs stupid and useless. Then they slapped her with another $1,500 fine for comments she made on her podcast about referee inconsistency.
Said, careful, you're going to get fined. Then Sydney Colson said, I can't get no more fine. So Lynn Dunn stated, agree, I will help pay the fine. So that's what Lynn Dunn stated yesterday about the fines. And Caitlin Clark said, love it. Everyone listen to Lynn. So it's definitely a lot of exchange going back and forth there. That's crazy. Erica's in the mix.
But wait, it gets even better. Cunningham got hit with a 3rd fine for questioning why rookie sensation Paige Beckers was getting preferential treatment from officials. She said, those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. Like, you couldn't touch her. That shit is so annoying to me. And if you're gonna do that, then give it to our guards. For stating the obvious truth about referee bias, the WNBA decided to punish her again. Think about the message the league is sending here. They're essentially telling players, shut up and take whatever treatment we decide to give you, or we'll fine you into bankruptcy. It's like watching a protection racket disguised as professional sports administration. Colson understood this perfectly, which is why her response to Clark's warning was equally telling. I can't get no more fine. Translation, she's already been financially punished for speaking truth to power, and she's reached her limit.
I love Paige to death. Do not get me wrong. I think, I think she's a hell of a player and, would love to play with her one day. But those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. You literally couldn't touch her. And that shit is so annoying to me. And if you're going to do that, then give it to our guards. I just hate the inconsistency.
When whistles are player focused, that's I think that's a huge problem. But then again, I don't know what sport that doesn't exist. But she's a rookie. She shouldn't get whistles as a rookie.
Facts.
Is that fair to say?
We know. Yes, or we know she's a good rookie and she's gonna get some whistles, but to get the treatment she got last night was
But here's what makes this whole situation even more infuriating. The statistics don't lie about the systematic targeting happening in the WNBA. Remember, Caitlin Clark suffered 17% of all flagrant fouls in the league this season. 17%. That's not coincidence, that's systematic bias disguised as competitive basketball. And it's not just Clark getting the raw deal. Kelsey Mitchell, as Colson pointed out, gets assaulted on a regular basis with no consequences for her opponents. During the Sparks game, Mitchell made only 2 trips to the free throw line despite driving aggressively all night. Compare that to the star treatment other players receive, and the double standard becomes crystal clear. The WNBA's response to criticism has been to fine players into silence rather than address the actual problem. They're more concerned with protecting their referees' feelings than ensuring fair competition. When Sophie Cunningham called out the inconsistency, saying, "If I was a ref, I know I would mess up all the time." But when it is a simple call, right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing? The league's response was to hit her wallet, not fix the officiating.
More people are talking about the refs than that. More people are talking about Caitlin Clark's reaction than that. And that just sums up how bad the refereeing is that we have seen an unbelievable game. We have seen an unbelievable game. A game where you're like, okay, maybe, just maybe, the Fever have not even just maybe, the Fever put themselves in a great position. They put themselves in a great position to succeed. But now you're looking and you're like, what do people remember from this game? Caitlin Clark having to be restrained by her team.
This isn't just about individual games or missed calls. This is about a systematic pattern of bias that's threatening the integrity of the entire league. Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White has been sounding the alarm for months, calling the officiating egregious and pointing out that there's a double standard there. She's been fined for her comments too, because apparently telling the truth is now a punishable offense in the WNBA. The most frustrating part is how obvious the favoritism has become. During games, you can literally watch referees apply completely different standards to identical situations. What's a foul for one team becomes a no call for another. Hard screens that would get called against Indiana somehow become legal basketball plays when other teams run them. And don't even get started on the technical foul disparity. Clark gets screamed at by officials for showing emotion after obvious no calls, while opposing players can commit actual flagrant fouls without consequence. It's like watching 2 completely different rule books being applied in the same game.
Right here, okay? It was this dude right here. And from what I've seen, the man has been a part of controversial calls all year. He's been a part of it all year, man. Oh my goodness. What was his name? Jack, what you say? Agan Abazi. Agan Abazi, man. This man is diabolical work to the WNBA. He's betting. Somebody get the shame bell. Ding, ding, shame. Ding, ding, shame. Ding, ding. Come on, man.
The league's strategy of financial intimidation is particularly disgusting when you consider the salary structure. Sophie Cunningham, who's making around $90,000 this season, has already been fined over $2,000 for speaking out. That's a significant chunk of her income, essentially punishing her for exercising her right to criticize poor performance in her workplace. But here's the beautiful irony. The WNBA's heavy-handed approach is backfiring spectacularly. Instead of silencing criticism, they've created a Streisand effect where every fine generates more attention and support for the players. Fever fans are literally offering to pay Colson's potential fines, and former team executives like Lynn Dunn are publicly supporting the players over the league office. The timing of all this couldn't be worse for the WNBA. They're experiencing unprecedented growth in popularity, largely thanks to Caitlin Clark's incredible rookie season, and instead of protecting their biggest stars, they're allowing them to get mauled while punishing anyone who points it out. It's like having the goose that lays golden eggs and deciding to shoot it because it makes too much noise.
Hey, Ganabazi, how much money you got on that game? You took the Sparks to win, huh? Didn't you? You took the Sparks to win, huh? Didn't you? It's okay. It's okay. Maybe next time. Maybe next time you'll get the benefit of the doubt. The referees are bad, Bo. The referees are absolutely horrendous in this game. There's no other way to call it for what it is. The referees are abysmal. And you can't help but wonder, is there foul play going on here? Is there foul play going on? Yeah, that's just one example, but we can go game by game and just look at bad.
What makes Colson's tweet particularly powerful is that she's not even playing right now. She's watching from the sidelines with a torn ACL, and she still can't stomach the blatant mistreatment of her teammates. That's the kind of solidarity and courage that exposes how rotten the officiating situation has become. Clark's quick response to warn Colson about potential fines shows just how normalized this financial intimidation has become. Players now have to weigh every public comment against the possibility of league punishment. It's created an atmosphere where legitimate criticism of poor performance gets treated like insubordination. The really infuriating part is that the WNBA could easily fix this. They could implement better training for officials, create accountability measures, and stop treating valid criticism as personal attacks on their authority. Instead, they've chosen the path of financial bullying and victim blaming. Meanwhile, the games continue to be marred by inconsistent officiating that makes you wonder if some refs are watching the same sport as everyone else. Clear fouls go uncalled, phantom calls get made at crucial moments, and the star players who are supposed to be protected get targeted with impunity.
Be a lawyer. Sid Colson is someone that everyone used to call the face of the league because she gets along with everybody. So when she's taking to Twitter to complain about something, it must be bad. Because usually she's just really funny, kind of cracking jokes here and there. And although this was pretty funny, there was a tone of seriousness, like calling out the referees, because the way that the Indiana Fever has been officiated, I think she finally understands from being on the team. And I'm telling you, this team sticks together. Her whistle was so bad last night that Lexi Hull even got a tech for it. And we are talking about Lexi Hull. Has not had a tech yet this.
The broader pattern here is unmistakable. The WNBA has created a system where certain players get preferential treatment while others, particularly those on teams like Indiana, get held to completely different standards. It's not about the quality of play or following the rules. It's about maintaining whatever narrative the league office prefers. And now, with Clark and Colson refusing to stay quiet, that system is being exposed for what it really is, a rigged game where the outcomes are influenced more by referee bias than actual basketball skill. The league's response of finding anyone who points this out only proves how desperate they are to maintain the illusion that everything is fair and balanced. The fact that players are willing to risk financial punishment to speak out shows just how bad things have gotten. When professional athletes would rather pay thousands of dollars in fines than stay silent about corruption, you know the system is fundamentally broken.
Sparks got every single call imaginable. And it was just noticeable, to the point you got Caitlin Clark running on the floor, ready to crash out on a ref in the middle of the game, to the point where it's obvious. It's obvious. It's like the fix was in. The fix was completely in. So the WNBA needs to do something about this. Kathy Engelberg, you need to get a hold of what's going on here. The officiating Kelsey Mitchell getting knocked around like a damn pinball.
So here we are, watching the WNBA's biggest stars call out the league's most obvious problem while the league office responds with financial threats instead of actual reform. It's a perfect encapsulation of everything wrong with how this league is run, and players like Clark and Colson deserve credit for having the courage to say what everyone else is thinking. The question now is whether the WNBA will listen to its players and fans, or continue down this path of financial intimidation and willful blindness. Based on their track record, don't expect meaningful change anytime soon. But at least now, thanks to players like Caitlin Clark and Sydney Colson, the whole world can see exactly what's happening behind the WNBA's carefully constructed facade.